Welcome to MovieNest. Let's dive into today's mind-blowing film. Today, we're diving into the intense, adrenaline-packed world of the 2021 action-adventure thriller The Ice Road. So sit back, relax, and let's hit the road. The story begins deep beneath the frozen wilderness of northern Manitoba, where miners at the Kakka diamond mine are drilling far underground. Renee Lampard, one of the workers, notices something terrifying. The methane gas sensors aren't working. Panic sets in as shift supervisor Mankins insists those sensors must be functioning at all times. Suddenly, an explosion rocks the area. A truck traveling the icy roads is thrown sideways, crashing violently down a cliff. Back inside the mine, Renee yells that they've hit a methane pocket, and Mankins orders everyone to evacuate. The miners rush toward the exit as a massive fireball erupts behind them. On the surface, General Manager Sickle races out of his office, realizing this is no ordinary emergency. Meanwhile, in North Dakota, we meet Mike McCann, a rugged long-haul trucker. He visits his younger brother Gertie at work. Gertie, an Iraq War veteran, suffers from PTSD and dysphagia. He can't express language properly due to brain trauma. When a coworker cruelly mocks him, calling him a retard, Mike punches him out. That act of protection gets both brothers fired. Mike tells Gertie to pack up his things, and Skeeter, his pet rat, and they leave. He drives Gertie to the VA medical center, hoping to get him the care he deserves. Dr. Talbot greets them kindly and promises a quick evaluation. If Gertie qualifies, they'll arrange rehab and housing. Back at the mine, Deputy Minister O'Toole instructs VP of Operations Tager and Manager Sickle to keep everyone out of the tunnels. Meanwhile, Tully, the mine's safety supervisor, seeks out Jim Goldenrod, a veteran ice road driver. He tells him Tunnel 6 has collapsed, and they need an 18-foot gas wellhead and 300 feet of pipe delivered to Kakka within 30 hours. Goldenrod agrees, but only if he can find 2 drivers and a solid mechanic. Back at the medical center, Mike returns to find Gertie heavily sedated. Enraged, he demands answers. The press would love another story about how the VA overprescribes opioids to our heroes. He snaps. Without hesitation, he takes Gertie and leaves. At a gas station, Mike receives an emergency alert requesting ice road drivers. A news report plays. Twin explosions at the Kakka mine have killed 8 miners, with 26 still missing. Desperate, Goldenrod bails out Tantu, a skilled female driver whose brother Cody is one of the trapped miners. She agrees to help. Mike and Gertie show up to meet Goldenrod, who asks why Mike hasn't held a steady job in years. Mike explains simply, he's been taking care of his brother. Gertie is tested in the workshop. Goldenrod times him as he removes a rocker arm shaft. He's fast and precise. Goldenrod nods in approval and hires them. Soon, Tantu joins the team, tossing her keys and parking her rig. Deep in the mine, the trapped men sit silently, preserving oxygen. Suddenly, they hear faint tapping, Morse code. Sickle orders a response. They're working on capping the methane leak with wellheads. Cody, one of the miners, interprets the message. Help is coming. In the mine office, Tager and Sickle stress over the impossibility of the mission. Meanwhile, Goldenrod gathers the team. The payment, $200,000 split 4 ways. But there's a catch. If someone doesn't survive, their share goes to the rest. Tom Varney, a rep from Kakka's insurance group, will ride with Tantu in the black rig. Mike places Skeeter the rat up front as Gertie double-checks their equipment. Goldenrod explains their route. The old Manitonka Bridge will get them to the mine just inside the oxygen window. As the team rolls out into the freezing night, the ice road is reopened just for them. Inside the mine, Mankins estimates they have just 26 hours of oxygen left. Time is running out. As the sun sets, the rigs speed across the cracking, frozen road. Goldenrod worries about sunlight melting the ice in the morning. Mike glances at his red Kenworth rig and jokes that maybe they'll get one like it someday. Gertie grins, replying, I'd name it Truck, Truck, Truck. It's a brief moment of peace, but not for long. Goldenrod's engine suddenly seizes. He's forced to stop. Mike and Tantu slam on the brakes and throw their rigs into reverse, determined to tow him out into the unknown. Back on the ice, the team works quickly. They attach nylon pulleys to the rear of the rigs, allowing the trucks to sway as Gertie runs diagnostics. Time is running out, and so is the ice. As they attempt repairs, disaster strikes. The ice beneath Goldenrod's trailer begins to crack. It gives way without warning. Goldenrod's leg becomes trapped as the truck starts sinking into the freezing abyss. Desperately, he urges Tantu to cut the strap attaching him to the rig. She hesitates, but with no other choice, she severs the line. Goldenrod disappears beneath the ice, sacrificing himself to save the others. Shocked but determined, the team ties the remaining rigs together and pushes forward. The cracking grows louder. They accelerate, knowing that stopping means death. Gertie and Varney balance precariously on the running boards, ready to jump off at the first sign of collapse. Just as the ice shatters beneath them, the truck's fishtail, rolling over. Ironically, that very action saves them. The weight is displaced evenly, stopping the deadly pressure wave. Meanwhile, at Katka, the trapped miners receive a new Morse message. Cody deciphers it grimly. The mission to deliver the wellheads has failed. Back on the road, Varney tries to convince Mike that they should turn back, but Mike, eyes fixed on an approaching storm, refuses. Tensions rise when Varney accuses Tantu of sabotage, claiming she tampered with Goldenrod's rig out of revenge for being fired. The confrontation explodes. Tantu pulls a gun on them. Gertie quickly disarms her and ties her up, but Mike has doubts. To be sure, he makes a call and confirms it. Cody Mantooth, Tantu's brother, is one of the trapped miners. Underground, things take a dark turn. Mankins tells Cody and Renee they need to decrease their numbers before oxygen runs out. Cody informs the others and a grim vote begins. Mankins coldly declares that not everyone will make it. Back on the rig, Mike notices something strange. Just before Varney locks both him and Gertie in the rear cargo hold, Varney climbs into Tantu's rig and confronts her. She accuses him directly of sabotaging Goldenrod's vehicle. In response, he strikes her and knocks her out. Then, without remorse, Varney attaches dynamite to Mike's rig and lights the fuse before speeding away. Trapped inside, Mike and Gertie grab a steel pipe and begin ramming the wall. After an exhausting effort, they break through the heating system. Mike sees the burning fuse. Without wasting a second, he scrambles outside and throws the dynamite just in time. The explosion erupts behind him. Varney hears the boom and assumes they're dead, but the ice isn't done yet. As Mike and Gertie high-five in relief, the Kenworth's front wheels break through the weakening surface. They devise a plan to free it. Mike tells Gertie to increase pressure on the winch. Gertie warns it may fail, but Mike insists. As he powers the rig forward, the winch snaps, and Gertie, along with the trailer, plunges into the ice-cold water. Mike reacts instantly. He ties himself to the truck and dives into the freezing depths. He finds Gertie, unresponsive, and hauls him back into the cab. After intense CPR, Gertie sputters back to life. Mike breaks down, apologizing to his brother, but there's no time to rest. They owe it to Tantu to stop Varney, who clearly planned this all. Varney, meanwhile, reaches the road above the mine. Tantu regains consciousness just as Sickle, the corrupt pack executive, joins Varney. Varney lies, telling him Mike and Gertie were killed in the explosion, and that Tantu is still alive. Sickle instructs him to drive the rig through the guardrail and pretend he jumped out before it went over, to make the rescue look like it failed. Just as the miner's oxygen is expected to run out in 3 hours, it's all a cover-up. Below, tension grows. Renee confronts Mankins, demanding clarity on what he meant when he blamed management. Cody confirms the horrifying truth. Management had secretly ordered the sensors disabled, falsely assuring workers there were no methane pockets in that region. They paid miners $100 a month each to keep quiet. Mankins, however, shrugs it off. None of it matters now. Oxygen levels are plummeting. As Mike and Gertie race toward the mine, Varney forces a barely conscious Tantu into the driver's seat. He opens Gertie's stolen bag, and Skeeter, the rat, bites him. That distraction gives Tantu just enough time to fight back. She knocks Varney out of the truck. He scrambles to his snowmobile as she sends out a mayday call. Mike responds, saying they're close. She relays her position, but Varney is listening in. Tantu's rig is running dangerously low on fuel. Varney had secretly disconnected her fuel equalizer. Meanwhile, Mike and Gertie pass a group of snowmobiles who quickly give chase. Armed contractors flank the truck, jump onto the running boards, and begin attacking. Windows shatter. Chaos erupts. Gertie and 2 of the attackers fall out of the cab, brawling violently on the frozen ground. Mike fights back inside the cab, eventually gaining the upper hand and killing the last attacker with an ice pick. Outside, Gertie is struck repeatedly in the head with a helmet but finally chokes his assailant to death. Mike climbs out, breathing hard. He looks at Gertie and says, "Don't just stand there, let's go." At that moment, Tantu runs out of fuel. Varney appears behind her, ready to end it. She fires, but misses. Just when it seems all hope is lost, Mike and Gertie arrive, ramming Varney's vehicle off the cliff. He disappears below. Mike tells Tantu not to worry. Gertie can fix the fuel equalizer. They siphon enough fuel to keep moving, but Varney isn't dead yet. He survives, escapes, and climbs onto a snowmobile. In the calm before the storm, as Gertie repairs the system, Mike jokingly compares him to an old commercial. Takes a licking, but keeps on ticking. Meanwhile, Varney is burying dynamite in the snow, preparing one final trap, an avalanche. As Mike finishes refueling, Tantu hands Skeeter to Gertie with a smile and says, "He saved my life. Give him a treat." Then, in the distance, they hear it. Boom, the mountain roars. An avalanche is coming straight for them. Mike and Gertie manage to escape the avalanche just in time, reversing toward Tantu's rig. She's injured, struck by snow and wounded by a branch. Mike rushes over and tells her there's no time to waste. With only 45 minutes of oxygen left for the trapped miners, they'll haul her trailer off the cliff, hook it up to their own, and drive the wellhead to Katka. Working together, they succeed. One final push through snow, ice, and chaos. Back at the mine office, Tully informs Sickle that mine safety is demanding Renee's laptops, and the CEO is arriving within the hour. Sickle tries to stay calm, assuring Tager that there's nothing in the emails that could implicate. Still, his tone betrays fear. Meanwhile, underground, the miners gasp for air. Oxygen is almost gone. Time is up. As Mike, Gertie, and Tantu approach the mine, Gertie spots Tantu's stolen rig. Varney is behind the wheel, still trying to stop them. He attempts to overtake their truck, ramming them repeatedly on the icy road. Mike tells Gertie to take the wheel and not to stop until he reaches the mine, no matter what. With that, Mike climbs out and leaps onto Varney's rig. The two men engage in a brutal fight, both tumbling out of the cab onto the freezing road. Gertie presses on, reaching the dangerous Manitonka Bridge, the last route to Katka. But he hesitates. It's old, unstable, never meant to support the rig's weight. Tantu steps in. She tells him she can do it. Slowly, carefully, she drives the rig onto the fragile structure while Gertie uses traction pads to stop the wheels from slipping on the icy surface. Back on the road, Mike and Varney are still at it, fists flying, rage burning. Mike gains the upper hand, forcing Varney out of the rig. He jumps into the driver's seat and speeds off, but Varney, relentless, climbs back in. They fight again until Mike knocks him out cold. Knowing what's coming, Mike accelerates toward a weak section of ice, then leaps from the cab just before the rig crashes through. Varney plunges into the freezing water below, gone for good. At the bridge, Tantu barely makes it across, but the bridge's cables snap under the weight. Mike hears the sound and races toward them. The rig begins to roll back. Tantu runs to the cab, while Gertie tries to shut the gates and stop the trailer. In the final act of heroism, he's crushed, but he saves the load. Mike arrives just in time to cradle his brother in his arms. Broken, he whispers, "Brother mine, I'm so sorry." And then Gertie is gone. At the mine entrance, Deputy Minister O'Toole and CEO Thomason arrive. Thomason coldly says he doesn't believe anyone could survive after 30 hours without oxygen. Just then, Fred Ford spots the rig arriving and hits the emergency alarm. Sickle's eyes widen. They thought they'd buried the truth. Medics rush toward the truck. Mike steps out, grief heavy in his face, and simply says, "No hurry." He's gone. The wellhead is installed, and blasting crews are dispatched to Tunnel 6. One by one, the miners are brought to the surface. Tantu spots her brother Cody and runs to him, overjoyed. She points back at Mike, telling Cody he wasn't alone. They had help. Meanwhile, Renee steps up to CEO Thomason and tells him the truth about the cover-up. Thomason walks over to Sickle and Tager, surrounded by a crowd of survivors and press, furious at what he's just learned, that the executives had paid miners to work without methane sensors. Mike, without a word, steps forward and lands a signature punch square on Sickle's jaw. The crowd erupts as both corrupt men are arrested. As the injured miners are taken to the medical tents, O'Toole walks over to Mike, offering both thanks and condolences. A medic hands Mike a brochure. It's the gold Kenworth truck Gertie always dreamed of. He had kept it with him the whole time. 3 months later, Tantu is working as a mechanic in Goldenrod's old garage. Mike arrives in a sparkling gold Kenworth, just like the one in Gertie's brochure. He's now an independent trucker, delivering sporting goods across the country. As he drives away, Skeeter rides along beside him. His license plate reads TRK TRK TRK, in honor of the name Gertie once chose. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell if you want more powerful stories like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.